Hello there, and welcome back to another Let's Play Fellowship VoDCast. I thought for this one that I'd go ahead and sort of do an Ardeos guide, so to speak, and potentially do a few dungeons. And I also maybe stepping away from Fellowship, and I wanted to, I guess, discuss about why. So, before I get into sort of the guide section, I guess I'll just explain sort of what's been going on in the game as far as how my character's looking and how I'm feeling about the game in general. Overall, I think Fellowship's a great game. I find it to be pretty much as advertised. I think that the game is, I think that it makes a lot of sense to play if, well, for a couple of different player types. I would say one type might be if you're someone that spends a ton of time playing like World of Warcraft Mythic Plus, and you kind of, I don't know, reach sort of your cap over there, and you're looking for something else to do. Well, now there's just a game that has sort of the same sort of systems and stuff going on, so it's just kind of a second place to play, different dungeons to play or whatever, so you can get some variety if you like these sorts of games. So that's one thing. But I think that sort of the point of the game, and in a way that I do think is working out pretty well, is that I think that this game makes a lot of sense to pick up if you are someone who would like to maybe do and learn some dungeons and progress a character, but you don't want to have to commit super hard to, like, I don't know, leveling and daily quests and all of this sort of stuff. Like, if you just want to hop into the game and start playing dungeons, Fellowship offers that to you, and the progressing through the dungeons and stuff like that is fun. You will learn. It feels like you're playing, you know, Mythic Plus style content right off the bat. You're constantly progressing your character, getting gear, getting better. The dungeons are adding new mechanics, stuff is hitting harder, and all that sort of a thing. So you can kind of just boot up the game and have fun right out of the box with a UI that's set up for you, that you don't have to have a bunch of add-ons or anything like that to use, and you can have a lot of fun with it. I also think that a game like this does make, like, Mythic Plus style dungeons and this style of game maybe more accessible in some sense to the average person. Like, you might be someone who's like, oh, yeah, I've always maybe wanted to try some M Plus and stuff, but I don't know, like, WoW is sort of feels too time consuming, too daunting or something like that. I think that Fellowship is maybe a good alternative for you, where it's not too much of a commitment to try or to invest into a character to see if you're enjoying it or not. So, yeah. As far as why I think I might be reaching the end of how much I want to play for the time being, well, let's take a look at my character here. So, I just hit, I guess, 14,000 rating, which, I don't know, we're 2316 in the game. We're 172 among all Ardeoses. You can see 14K. Top score over here is 20K, so quite a bit more ways to go. We look at the dungeons that I've completed. So I don't know, there's a timed 40 with some significant time left. Here's a Sands 41 that's pretty close. Markets 42 timed. Yada yada yada. But I would say that where I'm running into trouble at the moment is just that queue times are starting to get pretty long and not be very available for the level dungeons. These level dungeons, it seems like it starts around 40, where it's like really hard to get into. Seems like it's hard to get into groups. There's a lot of dodging and stuff that goes on. Dungeons end in, you know, the first pull a good amount of the time. And one other trend that I've noticed, which I think makes sense, but which I don't like, is if you notice my capstones down here, so all this stuff is kind of higher level, I have like a Sithral's 33, a Heart 30, a Ransack 32, and I guess like a Wraithtide 43 that ran way over. So basically, like, people don't seem to like doing the capstones, which is a little bit... I find it kind of annoying, because I'd like to do them. It seems like the player base seems to be saying, oh, they're so hard, they're harder, or whatever. I think it's true in a sense, but I think it's a little bit overblown. I mean, just like, I don't know, statistically sort of speaking, these dungeons are harder if for no other reason than just because, I mean, you've got a 12-minute dungeon versus like a 29-minute dungeon. So, you know, it's more than double the length of time for something or some combination of things to go wrong, right? So you would expect to time them less often, probably, than the earlier dungeons, just because there's more time to make mistakes, right? Particularly as things start getting more difficult. And not only that, but I also think this is compounded by the fact that, like, you didn't do any of these dungeons as much as the other ones while you're sort of leveling up and getting through the different leagues. And then people do them less now because of this perception that they're harder, so... And it's more of a time commitment, so your groups that I've been in, they tend to not want to do them, they tend to think that it's hard, they have kind of a defeatist attitude about it. And not only that, but myself, and it seems like other people in the group, like, aren't as familiar with the mechanics, the routes, and a lot of other stuff in these dungeons because no one's doing them. So, yeah, that's a little bit frustrating just because I certainly think I could get these timed at a much higher level, but, I don't know, like, no one wants to do them. And the other thing that happens is, like, I'll get into queue for 40, and, you know, around that level, like, I mean, I don't know, it seems like people are being pretty picky about the curses and stuff like that, too, which, I mean, there's sort of a reason for, but at the same point in time, like, when you queue for, say, a 40, like, say, maybe not this particular one, but, well, I don't know, say 41 or whatever. It's like, okay, Shadow Lord's Trial on Empyrean Sands, and so, like, people pick that one, like, per tier. They don't ever want to do the ones that are perceived as, like, harder, I guess, because of the affixes. So, what winds up happening is, like, I don't know, I mean, I'll have, so this Everdawn 40, this seems like a popular one. It has Shadow Lord's Trial and Stone Skin for curses, which I think people both think are maybe good. So, I'll queue in if it's like the 40 level thing, and I'm still looking to get, I don't know, a Stormwatch, which I only have time to, not even times, but I only have a 32 Stormwatch. Well, no one ever picks the Stormwatch, they all just pick Everdawn Grove 40, which I already have timed. So, like, I'll stay in the group and try to do the dungeon and try to help people get their 40 timed and try to get, you know, a chance at loot or a gem or something like that, but it's like, I'll spend forever in queue, and then when they pop, everyone picks the same dungeon, and I just, like, never get these ones that straggle behind, like, you know, the Godfall, the Capstones. So I find that a little bit frustrating, and long story short, I guess I would just say that my sort of rule or feeling in these games is that I sort of stop enjoying them. I mean, I kind of still want to play, but I feel like when it gets to the point where I'm spending longer in queue and, like, having groups disband and all this stuff than I spend playing, then that's the point in time where it's like, yeah, I mean, I kind of just maybe don't want to play anymore. I want to find something else to do, because sitting around for 45 minutes, not even getting a completion, not getting anything done or anything, to get, like, you know, 5 minutes in a dungeon that doesn't complete, you know, certainly feels like a huge waste of time. Now, I will say that part of that is potentially my fault, because there is apparently a, you know, burgeoning community on Discord, and you know, you can connect with people and stuff like that, and certainly if you're going to do voice chat and stuff like that, a lot of these dungeons are going to be easier to complete, but I'm not really necessarily looking to do that right now, so, you know, I mean, I wouldn't say that I've hit a wall. Like, I think I could still continue to queue and get these up, but I start to feel like, what am I doing it for? Like, I'm spending hours sitting around to try to get, like, a couple dungeon score. I mean, it's just a little bit silly, in my opinion, so I don't know. I'm thinking I might give the game a little bit of a break. As far as our gear and stuff goes, I mean, I've got just a couple pieces that don't have essence bonuses. Most of them do. And I've got a lot of splendid gems and stuff like that at this point. My weapon has all the traits I want on it. It's fully maxed. trinkets and all that sort of stuff. So the gearing and whatnot at the end game I don't find to be too big of a problem. I still have more gems, you know, upgrade some more gems, get a little bit more power, some more essence sockets that I could hit, but you know, at the end of the day, you know, we're kind of there, minus just waiting for gems to drop and RNG. So nothing super exciting to go for there either, and I wouldn't expect it's going to make me too much more powerful no matter what happens. So yeah, that's that. I've had fun playing. I might continue playing some more. I might play a different character or something like that, but I'm thinking about maybe just taking a break from Fellowship and playing something else. So before I go, I wanted to give maybe a little quick Ardeos guide with some thoughts on things for people who are curious. If any Ardeoses out there watch any of this content and would like to know my thoughts, at least as of the posting of this video. Again, I don't consider myself to be, I don't know, a super high-level theory crafter, or not an expert or anything like that, so I would say take everything with a grain of salt, do your own research. Don't want you to be unhappy because you got what you thought was bad advice from me. And also, stuff in these games changes all the time, so anything that I say is certainly subject to change, depending on what they change in the game. So, to start out with, I think if you're a new player, you want to go into, what, settings here? So one super quick tip that is very basic to people who've been playing these games for a long time, but might not be so obvious to people who don't, is I actually forget if turn left and turn right are bound by default, or if it's strafe left and strafe right. But if turn left and turn right are bound to keys, you really kind of just don't want to use them, and you kind of want to use strafe left and strafe right. The reason being just that turning with a mouse button is like interminably slow. Like your character kind of turns like this, and then you run. It takes forever. Meanwhile, you can just turn your character at instant speed by right-clicking the mouse and just swirling around. So that's really what you want to do as a player. And then meanwhile, if there's going to be swirls and stuff like that on the ground that you need to dodge, you just want to be able to strafe left and right and be able to keep your target in front of you so that you can continue casting instants on the move and see what they're doing and all that sort of stuff. So I recommend strafe left, strafe right, and, you know, generally speaking, you rarely want to walk backwards. You usually want to spin and walk, because that's faster as well. But, yeah, these are some basic things that most people know, and if you don't, and if it feels uncomfortable to use strafe left, strafe right or something, force yourself to do it, and you will eventually feel more comfortable with it, learn how to do it. You will be a better player, you will have more reaction time, and be more efficient as a result. Another quick thing in the settings that probably a lot of people know, but some might not, is, where is it? Well, by default, some button in the game, you can set it to whatever you want. You can set your interrupt target, and you can then have a button to use your interrupt on your interrupt target. This is pretty important in this game, particularly as you start getting to higher levels. It's very handy. You highlight it so that then you can target whatever else you want, and you can just still use your other button to go ahead and kick this thing. It also puts your portrait up there, and it shows when you use your interrupt how much time is left on it, so, you know, you can start paying attention to, you know, what your team members pick to interrupt. Then if no one picked a target that is important to interrupt, you can pick it. And if there's multiple people on the same target, you can see who has their kick up and who doesn't. Without having voice comms, it is, of course, better and easier to have voice comms, but if you are playing solo, which is what I did, you will definitely want to start using this and make use of it, so, yeah. There was one other setting. I was trying to figure out where exactly it is. Maybe it's an input? No, I thought it was here. Where is... targeting mode. Quick cast versus click to confirm. So, I think default in the game, it has click to confirm on, so if I put my Apocalypse up here, it shows the big targeting circle, and then I have to click it again to use it. Same thing for Fireball with Ardeos. It shows me the circle. It doesn't do anything until I then click it also to use it. You can do it that way, but if you don't want to, there are some good benefits sometimes to putting it on quick cast. which quick cast just means that it's going to cast it at my cursor with one click. Particularly for Fireball, which you can cast at instant speed, I think that this is useful to, you know, still throw some Fireballs on the run, so... I don't know, let's say some swirls are coming at me. Okay, there. Lob the Fireball there without having to do, you know, multiple clicks and worry about my mouse moving around after. I can just click it right there and it's done. So that might be a setting that will help some of you. Ardeos' rotation and stuff like that. Again, I would say, you know, mostly look online, and I also haven't seen super high-quality sims for this sort of stuff yet, but Apocalypse, you generally want to cast first when you have multiple targets. You might be supposed to cast this on single target. I would assume that you probably do. It does quite a bit of damage when it lands for a 2-second cast. But if there's any sort of a boss fight with ads or something like that, you usually want to wait for the ads to come, and then you'll either throw Apocalypse, or if you're not going to use Apocalypse, you'll put Searing Blaze on the target, which generates your resources. So, you know, we'll go Apocalypse, then I'll Engulfing Flames, then because I have the Legendary Necklace, I'll do Wildfire, Frogs, Fireball, and then I'm just casting Infernal Waves, spending when I have all my dots up, or in a situation like this, I might use my weapon, which the best weapon for Ardeos is called Ash's Chronoshift Spire. This thing reduces, or it makes your CDs come up faster, and the little circle around you reduces damage. It's got a pretty big radius around it, doing damage to all the targets. So you kind of want to use this when all of your CDs are on CD. So, like, I'll use Apocalypse, just to say, throw Frogs, Wildfires on CD, okay, Fireballs are used, Pyromania is used, okay, now it's like, yeah, I want a Chrono Shift.
Burn, baby, burn!
Ardeos' ult does a lot of damage now. It's nice if you can get all of your dots on it, but if something's not up, it still might make sense to ult anyway. And then, you know, you're hasted, and you're just trying to spam your... what is it called? Searing Wave, Infernal Waves, and build up resources and spend your detonates and stuff, so, yeah. Pretty basic stuff. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily learn about rotation here. One thing that I'm still unclear on is if you have the Legendary Necklace, which I do, if you are in fact supposed to cast Wildfire before you do Frogs and Fireball, because this thing gives you 30% Spirit and crit chance. So I think that what I was hearing, you want the crit chance to be on the initial hit of Frogs and maybe on the initial hit of Fireball when it hits, so that might make some sense. But, yeah. And to kind of simplify things really a little bit, just, you know, your Searing Blaze, or your, yeah, Searing Blaze is instant speed, so whenever you're moving, if you don't have anything better to do, you can always refresh Searing Blaze at no cost, so this is, you know, fairly easy to keep up. Engulfing Flames does have a 20-second cooldown, so, you know, you're going to want to use that when it's up. And then your Frogs and your Wildfire both have 45-second cooldowns, so pretty much every time you hit Wildfire, you want to hit Frogs, or every time you hit Frogs, you want to hit Wildfire. Kind of use those at the same time, and then, you know, you want to make sure you have a Fireball up when you do that, too. Other sort of important things, I guess. I mean, your defensive ability, Flame Ward.
Flames?
I mean, one of the things that people tend to not be very good at in these games is, like, you really want to use your defensive abilities, which requires sort of knowing what abilities are going to do damage when. You learn this through experience, through paying attention and stuff like that. When you first start out the game, there's going to be too much to necessarily know what's coming when, and stuff might not even hit hard enough to matter. But as you do figure it out, you want to start using your defensive abilities basically as much as possible to try to mitigate damage, to try to mitigate any risk of you dying. And the same goes for your Interrupt, your Scorch, and also your Fire Flash, which is instant speed, 24-second cooldown, and this will stop any mob with an actual cast bar, or a gray cast bar, from casting. You can kind of use it like a second interrupt on most targets. There are some mobs that are quote-unquote crowd control immune. If it's crowd control immune, then only your interrupt would stop its cast. But there are also mobs where they have a gray cast bar that you can't even interrupt, but if you have a CC, you can CC it, and that it's good for that. So if you're trying to play solo, once you start to hit adept and stuff, you will probably pretty quickly notice which casts seem to just like kill people, and you want to just take it into your own hands and try to carry a group, and pick one of the mobs that you know is going to have a deadly cast, pick another mob that you know has a deadly cast, and just go ahead and like CC both of those, because you don't know if your teammates will get them. And yeah, I don't know. That's kind of it. A couple of other quick things about Ardeos, just that might be a little bit helpful for a couple people. I would say that, gearing up and going through the leagues and stuff like that, I didn't spend really any resources, and I would recommend that you not spend resources either. I would say that as you get to the end of each league, it starts to be harder to queue into 6s and stuff like that to try to get the highest level gear drops that you need, because the game has a system by which, in order to queue for the capstone of each league, the end dungeon of each of these leagues, you need a certain item level. And once you start to get to the end of a tier, it starts to be kind of hard to queue into, an Adept 6 and complete enough of those to get all the gear. So I would say that you kind of just, I would play the league, get used to it, spend a lot of time in the dungeons. You're going to try to spend a lot of time in them anyway. And when you're basically ready to move on, then go ahead and use your gold to upgrade gear. But I would say don't use don't use like your rerolls and stuff like that on gear. I just don't think it's necessary. I mean, I know it's not necessary. Like, at the end of the day, once you complete the capstone for a league, like, all of your gear is going to be replaced pretty quickly anyway. So, you mostly want to save your rerolls and stuff for when you're in Eternal, for when it matters, for where every time you reroll a piece of gear, you've got a chance at getting potentially an item with an essence bonus in it, which is with a socket and an essence bonus, which is like going to be pretty much the best piece of gear that you can get. So you want to kind of maximize your shot at that in Eternal as much as possible, rather than kind of wasting them in lower leagues, because at the end of the day, the item level or the secondary stats on your item is not going to probably be the make or break between you getting out of a league and not. So yeah, I would just hold on to all that stuff. When I hit Eternal, because I didn't spend any rerolls and I did spend a good amount of time in the leagues, I felt like I had plenty of materials to reroll things, craft gems, and do all the stuff that I wanted to, but materia, magic essence, and gold were a little bit scarce in terms of getting all my stuff to 330, so that took a little while to accumulate. But other than that, there was plenty of all the other materials. Trinkets for Ardeos. I think almost everyone uses the Sin Binding Stone. It's a great item, 15% damage reduction to yourself and nearby allies for 15 seconds. I think that that's pretty standard on there. Through some of my playthroughs, I was touting the Saltwash Elixir, particularly in like lower solo queue leagues, because you might get paired with healers that are not that attentive and not that quick on the button, and you might not know what's going on either. And a lot of stuff doesn't one-shot you. So just having a 40% instant heal that you can use very frequently in the dungeon is pretty strong. I'm still using it now in Eternal, but as I'm playing more Eternal solo queue and getting up into these like 40s and stuff like that dungeon range, Ancient Wardstone for the Dispel in dungeons where that's important, or Grimoire of Resurrection, they might be better options, particularly the Grimoire, mostly just because, I mean, I find the Saltwash Elixir still useful at times, but it starts to be more the case that just so much stuff just starts like one-shotting you that a lot of times, the elixir is just kind of no good. It's kind of just like, well, you either got hit by something and died, or you didn't, or someone else got hit by something and died, or they didn't. And so if they're going to get hit by something and die, particularly if it's on a boss, you would prefer to have a battle res for yourself. And I mean, I guess I'm just saying, long story short, you know, as the quality of healers that I play with gets better and as stuff just one-shots more, I think it starts to diminish the value of this versus some of the other items. So still, I think a solid choice, but I don't know. Starting to rethink it a little bit. For Ardeos' weapon, your traits that you want, which I think I have the traits that I sort of consider the best. At the time being, it seems to be Inspired Allegiance, which gives all of your allies and yourself haste rating, has a chance to proc, and it also can reduce the CD of your weapon. And Kindling seems like a very popular offensive choice, so these two for your offensive. In-cap trait, Amethyst Splinter seems to be what all the high players are using. That may or may not be dependent on having your crit gem, which is the most popular gem for Ardeos, maxed. But this and Visions of Grandeur are both, I think, good choices. I was using Visions through almost all of my runs until just recently I did a reroll and rerolled it into Amethyst. Your defensive traits, King of the Hill and Heart of Stone, just kind of like straight up defensive stats and absorption, seem like two of the most popular choices. There are a couple of other ones that some people use that might be good for certain situations or, you know, playing with certain groups, but this is just kind of a solid build, I think, for solo queue play, so that's what I'm running. And for people who don't know, yeah, you get to empower your weapon traits, and if you're lucky enough or you advance into the late game enough where you reroll your talent rows to a point where you have multiple options you might want to use, then I guess you could spend gold and upgrade all this stuff, but for the most part, I'm only going to use this tree, so I don't see any reason to spend on the other abilities. And basically how this works, I guess, is just that when you upgrade... You know, these are all upgraded 4 of 4 for me now. It costs 6,000 gold to go from rank 1 to 4. I think it goes like 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 as far as the cost to upgrade, so 6,000 total. And when these are upgraded, it permanently upgrades like this slot. So if you use, which is what I did, I mean, I had this 4 of 4 empowered with Visions of Grandeur. So if I decided I wanted to try to get Amethyst Splinters, well, I'd use a Legends Godstone to re-roll the 2 end traits here, and I was hoping that the Amethyst Splinters would land in this spot so that it would already be empowered, because I don't get a refund on this 4 of 4. Like, whatever is in here will have 4 of 4 empowered, and I can choose to use it or not. Had the Amethyst Splinters been on this side, then I would have either had to re-roll and try to get it over here, or I would have to spend the 6,000 gold to upgrade that slot. So... since gold is a bit of a constraint, particularly when you first get to Eternal, and these are kind of the last things you should upgrade after you already have all 330 gear, I would take your time, make sure you have a good weapon with the traits that you want before you invest into things, because you don't get the money back if you try to re-roll your traits after you've spent it. Another quick thing, I guess, on gear. For Ardeos, a lot of people probably know this, but maybe some don't, is that when you spend gold to upgrade an item all the way to 330, if you get another item that drops, like, say right now, okay, look, I've got a 330 cloak. Let's say I get a 330 cloak with a socket with an essence bonus, and I want to use that. If I use one of the mithrils on this item, as opposed to scrapping it, then I get all the resources that I spent into this back. I think all. If nothing else, more than the scrapper. But I think you get all of them back. So, when it comes to your 330 gear, as long as you have some mithrils left, these crafting materials, then it's safe to go ahead and spend your gold on them to upgrade them, because you know that when you're done with the item, or if something better drops, you can get the resources back and then just upgrade the thing that you wanted to upgrade instead. Your weapon, your bis weapon should not be hard to find. You can reroll into it very easily with an arcane mithril. Your trinkets, again, you can just reroll into them pretty easily. For the most part, you'll hopefully get some essence bonus gear to drop out of dungeons or on some of your rerolls. But when you get to sort of the later part of the game, where again, I only have a couple items that don't have essence bonuses on them anymore, or yet, then you're probably going to want to use your imbued mithrils and your arcane mithrils to give yourself a good shot at it. I would say that initially when you're fishing for these, I would try to maybe avoid, if you're Ardeos and you're going to use the legendary neck, which people say is the best in slot, I would try to avoid using your rerolls on your cloak or your boots, just because both of these items are also legendary slots for Ardeos. You can get the boots or you can get the cloak. And, you know, I know some people maybe complain about legendary drop rate, but in my experience, I think the legendary drop rate is extremely high for, particularly if you reroll with an arcane mithril and you get 3 choices. And if all you're searching for is an essence bonus piece, because I'm not going to be able to use either of these 2 legendaries, it makes it harder to actually get that essence bonus piece, because now, so many times when I roll, one of the 3 choices that you get for an item to pick will be your boots or your cloak. And you're never picking that because you already have it and you're not using it. So the other pieces are, I think, because you'll more often get a non-legendary choice that could have an essence bonus slot, I think that you're more likely to get it if you use the mithril on pieces that can't potentially drop legendaries for you. So, just a thought. So yeah, I don't know. You hit Eternal, Materia, Magic Essence, and Gold start to become a little bit of a scant resource in terms of upgrading, because all of a sudden you've got to get all your pieces to 330, and you've got to get your weapon upgraded, which costs a lot of gold too. Your mithrils, use these to reforge gear. I would only use it in Eternal, mostly using it sometimes to just reroll on a piece that you upgraded into to get your resources back and give yourself a chance at something with an essence bonus. Otherwise, saving them to reroll into an essence bonus piece when you want to. The Aethers, these are only for gem fusing and unfusing and recoloring them to make bigger gems. I haven't run out of these. You can buy them with your Marks of Fellowship too, no problem. And then your weapon rerolls, I mean, I don't know. I've got a ton of them. I think I got maybe a little bit lucky in some of my rolling, but I don't think it takes that long either, so you should probably eventually have plenty of that. No need to necessarily rush. And gems, just to talk about briefly, again, don't know for sure, but it seems like all the high-level Ardeoses, you want to max out your, what are these? Your amethysts for crit. I don't know if you max it out first, or if there's, you know, I don't know what order to sort of go in terms of putting it up, but for the very end game, everyone maxes out, it seems like, the crit tree, which mine is a little bit overcapped at this point. And then after that, it's a bit of a choice between sort of a mixture of the Topaz Haste gems and the, I think, Ruby gems that give, like, Int and, like, Stam and stuff like that for... Yeah, I mean, Raw Int is good, and then just, yeah, survivability in some of these higher keys. So I see a lot of people running, like, you know, max amethyst and then like kind of mid-level yellow and red. Some people go like max this, max that, vice versa. So yeah, this and then kind of play around with it. Might depend on what levels dungeons that you're doing and stuff like that. I will say that to me it looks like to me it looks like the first 240 gem power that you put in into Ruby seems pretty efficient. I mean, 3% primary stat while you're above 80% health. You'll probably be above 80% health a lot, so that's pretty good. And Then the second one, you get 8 int and 140 stam. That seems pretty decent, too. So, for me personally, I think that I might try maxing, like, this, and then, like, 240 gem power of red if I got that far. Which I don't know that I will. And yeah, I don't know. That's kind of a pretty basic guide, I think, to Ardeos. Some very basic sort of tips. General overview of sort of like how things work. My climb up has been, I don't know, pretty smooth, whatever. It's just, yeah, the queue times and stuff, once you start to get up here, can be an issue. And like I said, I feel like when I'm spending more time in queue or doing dungeons that I don't want to be doing, as opposed to doing the content that I do want to do, maybe it's time to kind of, I don't know. Maybe that'll be my stopping point, you know? So, anyhow, let me go ahead and try and get into a dungeon here and just maybe show you how things are going, and I'll see you back when the queue pops. Give me a sec. I'll actually show you, because this wasn't in the game when I first started recording some of this stuff, but yeah, so they added solo play to the Eternal Queue in Fellowship. One question that I see people post a lot when I look around online to just see, you know, forums and stuff like that, or what people are saying out of the game, there's an awful lot of people that go like, well, is the game worth playing solo or not? And I would say that that's just up to you individually. I do think that games like this tend to be a little bit more fun if you have a set group, but it also sort of depends on, you know, how good is your set of friends. I mean, you know, if you're a very strong player and you have good friends that are sort of lower level than you, are you going to be happy just kind of staying where they are, or do you want to climb up more, or vice versa? So you can always find other friends to play with and get in pre-mades, which will probably let you do higher dungeons. You can communicate more on your interrupts, boss and abilities, remind things, coordinate trinkets, and all that sort of a stuff. But if you are just wanting to play solo, which is entirely what I've done, no voice comms, all solo play or whatever, the best thing to do is, like, if you get in a group that's rolling where you can tell the people are good or whatever, try to continue rolling with them, try to perform well enough that they want to keep you around, and that's a good way to knock out a bunch of dungeons. Otherwise, you're going to spend a lot of time in queue waiting for groups that disband quickly because people are newer, and it's, you know, less likely to time stuff. But yeah, when you hit Eternal, you start getting rating, completing things, and as you complete different tiers, you get these different tiers that you can go into, and then they give you this option to sort of queue for each potential tier. So right now, what I had been kind of trying to do, and what I'll try to do right now, a lot of people like to farm, quote unquote farm, like Tuzari 2, which I don't know if it's true. Maybe mathematically that's the best thing to farm in terms of time and efficiency. I do know that I think that the higher level dungeons you do, you might get an increase to the gem drop rate, and you do get, I think, an increase to the chance of getting a piece of gear with an essence bonus in it. So what I've been doing is, for capstones, like, there are some tier 8s I would like, there's 40 plus that I would like, and then I'll go ahead and queue for like a 20 to 24, because I heard that maybe 20 is, you know, Eternal 20 is sort of a break point for a bit of a higher chance at, like, essence bonus gear. So, like, I'll just queue for these 3 and see what pops, if anything. Oh, there we go. So, like, the 20s tend to run a lot more. So here's, like, a 23 of some kind. And I already have whatever this is, so I'm happy to do whatever they want. We'll see what they pick. Taking some time here. Alright, and it looks like they've selected an Urrak Markets 23. certainly when your gear starts to get a bit higher like mine, you've got some essence bonuses, your gear's maxed, your weapon's maxed. You've got some nice gems going and stuff like that. These dungeons don't feel too hard. So I will highlight one of these slavers. There's 2 of them there to kick. I will kind of wait for this stuff to get gathered. Over here, do that. Do a pyromania. Go ahead and channel my weapon because I just put everything on CD to start the dungeon. Guess my fireball charges are capped. Okay. Engulfing flames fell off. I'll cast another engulfing flames. Trying to keep my eye on this slaver up here. I should have personaled that. Okay, I kicked the slaver with my focused interrupt thing. I could have cast maybe another frogs here, but I think this stuff's gonna maybe die too fast. I will throw, I guess, engulfing flames, because I think that'll probably be up by the time we pick up this garbage on the ground and head to the next pull. So, yeah, I don't know. Could have maybe done some more damage there. The stuff dies a little fast here on a 20 for Ardeos, in my opinion, still. Holiday boss is up over there. Looks like they want to start the holiday boss with this pull, which would be fine with me. But we're waiting for someone else to get in here. Alright. 2 people kicked it at once. I was kind of trying to wait, but I wasn't sure what was going to happen. There's a soak here. Make sure I'm in it. It looked like someone else was there, but... Right. Kick that. Right now, I kind of want to build up a couple of resources here because she's going to do that, the rune here. Which you do want to burst through. Ooh, personal. Do this. Okay, kick. We didn't have a kick up for that, which is not good. I guess I should have thrown the fireball out. And those bolts that she casts, if they don't get kicked, aside from doing damage, they slow you, which can make it a little bit hard to dodge those swirls on the ground. Particularly if you get a bunch of them, your character will be really slowed, so... Alright, tank dropped down, I assume intentionally, but if not, too late now. A lot of people do that, though. Okay, yeah, we're gonna head into this pull over here, I think. We're all here, which we now are. Okay. So there are multiple slavers in here, too. And I guess I'll ult. It's kind of a big pull. And you can see that just, yeah, I mean, after I ult, I mean, this stuff on a 20, it's just gone, so.
Hold me back!
And it's a good thing I ulted, because this guy's up, get a free ult on him, the mini-boss, the Shadow Lord guy. Kind of waiting to hit a frogs to, there we go, to dump some detonates on it. I guess I can use my weapon here, because I just sort of used all my stuff on the last pull. I guess I'll go frogs. Use my personal. Sure, now we get another ult for this next pull. Hopefully it'll be a bigger pull then. Okay, some slaughter vines. I don't really want to start casting until I gathered up however much we're gathering. Okay, yes, a lot of stuff, so... Kind of feels like a race to get ult off here between me and the other DPS. Looks like I lost. Because mine takes longer to set up, so it all just died. But yeah, deleted that enormous pull. Again, this is like a, you know, this is a 20. I mean, you can just see how fast this stuff can die with some gear. Whoa! Oh. Okay. Still going? Okay. Oh. Okay. Well, now I get Apocalypse. I guess I'll use it. Personal this tantrum. Throw another fireball. Using my fire flash, my CC on that barb chain there. Guess I would like to kill this before it does another tantrum. Bigger threat at this point. Guess I can do Infernal Wave on this. Yeah, whatever, not perfect. It just all dies fast. And yeah, this will be the Shadow Lord here. I guess I'll ult just because I think I'll get another one on the boss. Might be better to not do that still and just ult the boss, but
Yet more sacrifices.
Probably not better to do that.
Our god hungers. Prove. If this is your doing, I'll skin you alive.
I guess I should chrono shift because I don't have yeah, personal the tantrum.
Enough of this.
Maybe I won't get another ult on the boss, honestly. Another tantrum. Guess I can get an apocalypse off here.
I'll finish this.
Guess I might as well use my Sin Stone.
You might free these slaves,
No ult.
but more deals will be made across the jungle.
Alright. Yeah, I shouldn't have used my ult on that last thing. Made my damage there look pretty bad because I didn't even get it up. Just died too quick. But yeah. So yeah, Urrak Markets 23 deleted. Well, 7 minutes and 43 seconds left. I think the holiday boss adds a couple of extra minutes, which they don't sort of count on your dungeon score thing, but yeah. So there's that. We can see how I did overall. I was pretty sure I was going to lose just because the last boss and then not having ult, and then some of those packs for ulting. I think my ult takes too long to ramp up to, so yeah. Queue for another. Okay, same group. Fine. I'll be right back when this gets underway. Alright, looks like the group has selected a Wyrmheart 24. That is fine. Again, the Shadow Lord. Everyone loves to pick the Shadow Lord. One thing I've noticed about this game, I would say not the case with this group. This tank scene is, I think, actually higher level than me in terms of dungeon score.
I will not give.
one thing I was going to say is just that, and again, definitely not indicative necessarily of this tank, but sometimes when I'm running dungeons in this game so far, I mean, obviously it's like a timed game, and it's obviously very hard. I've said many times. I've thought about trying to play a tank in this game, but I don't think I have the energy for it right now. Playing tank seems so hard. There's so much to learn, so much to know. And I've never done it in any of these games. Oh, these are just all remnants? I probably shouldn't have used all that stuff. Definitely shouldn't have, but okay. I guess I'll personal. I think I saw someone going back for orbs, but not sure. Okay. Alright, we got them. Is like, yeah, it is a timed game, but one thing I've noticed is just that, you know, sometimes it seems like the tanks that I'll play with, or just from people in general, like there's not maybe as enough of a sense of urgency, so to speak. Not with like the pulls, like people want to do efficient pulls and stuff, but just in terms of like just not wasting time like out the gate to start the dungeon. Like I'll sometimes be like the first one running to like routes and stuff like that. Whereas people kind of like dilly-dally. It doesn't seem like much, but you know, take 3 seconds here, 5 seconds there, 5 seconds after pull, 10 seconds after pull to, I don't know, figure out where they want to go or what's next or something like that. And that definitely adds up to the end of the dungeon. Not saying that you necessarily want to chain pull or anything. I don't like that a lot of times, but you know, all those seconds spent not DPSing and not sort of getting to the next target, they do add up over the course of the dungeon. Alright. Oh my gosh, wasn't paying attention. Was that just like a stomp? I didn't see. I wish I would have seen. I think I just stood in a swirl that I didn't know. I have seen people doing this sort of route more in this place lately, but I'm not usually used to seeing people do these particular mobs, these ice golems and stuff like that in here. Oh, it actually might have been an orb. I don't know. Did an orb spawn under me? I didn't think of that either. Alright, well, we're wiping. Oh, they want to remake. That's fine. I think we'd have plenty of time to time it even if we didn't do that, but that's fine. So, yeah, I don't know. That might have been me on that pull. I don't know if I stood in a swirl. It looked like there was a swirl, but it also... maybe an orb went off because multiple people died. I don't think I've ever seen anyone pull the Scholar into, that mob there before, so I don't know. I saw we pulled a Scholar, then it was getting dragged, and I was trying to think about what does that thing even do, and... yeah, I don't know. Can't even see. I guess I'll throw frogs, I don't know. Probably pretty bad. Maybe now they spread to these? I don't know. No, they're just remnants. Okay. More remnants? Okay. Can't really pick up a lot of damage on these. No, wait, do remnants have more HP? I don't even know what this crap is, really. Okay. Orbs all over the place. I guess we got them. Alright, this guy stomps, so you want to stay at range of it. There's the stomp. We're far enough away that doesn't hit us, and then I guess this stuff's gonna put swirlies on the ground. Stomping again, but we're out of range. Avalanche, is that a frontal? I don't even know. Maybe some sort of a tank thing.
I feel
Stomp again. Refresh dots, I guess. At this point, I think I should pick a different secondary target, because that golem's about to die. Okay. I guess the avalanche is the frontal, but it just must have faced the other direction. There's an orb around the corner. I guess I'll get it in a second. Not even sure if I should, like, DPS this. Hate to lose out on all the damage, so I guess I will. I guess now I mount and pick up these orbs that are all the way back here. Okay. There's one there. Oh, and he's gonna stomp. I want to stay out of range of that if I can. Okay, I'm glad I canceled that ult. I think it would be a terrible ult, because this stuff's almost dead. Let me just finish the Scholar before something dumb happens. Okay. Maybe this guy doesn't even... I don't even know what was in there. Okay. This time I'm not gonna use a fireball on this stuff. I'm just gonna cast a couple ember generators. Alright, we're gonna get the mini boss here. Or the... whatever you call it. Right? Yeah.
Burn, baby, burn.
Should completely fill up my ult bar again. Killing this. So I should have it for next full. Yeah, there it is. So now I'll just get an ember or two. Alright, just one.
This looks fun.
Don't hold me back!
I mean, I don't know. Can I even ult this? I guess not, really. I mean, I can't even, like, cast frogs or do anything. It's just all dead. I guess I'll have it for next pull, which might also be kind of big. We'll see. Oh, no, it's this guy? That's annoying. Always try to run away from this thing pretty fast because it cleaves. I mean, I guess I have to use ult here, basically. Looks terrible on meters because instead of getting it on, like, some huge pack where I'm getting a big multiple of damage, I'm just doing it on a single target fight, but... I think better to use it now than hold it, and, yeah, whatever. This guy will die faster.
this.
Alright, pick up all this junk. Which way? This way? Alright, so those are dead, and...
Hold me back!
My ward shields.
Be free!
This is gonna hurt.
I think I'm gonna get most of my ult bar back here. And get an ult on the boss? At least I hope so. 76%, 78%, and we'll tick up as we run to the boss a little, so yeah. That should be fine. Okay, they want me to get the frigid mists, that's fine with me.
Cannot go unpunished.
Blood! Steel! No mercy!
Thunder! Be burdened by frost. Be gone.
What's this?
Dance, mortals. Be gone. Be burdened by this changes nothing.
Oh.
You will witness
I just cast some stuff I didn't need to cast, but that's okay.
Dance, mortals.
Alright. So, yeah, 530 left there. No gems, no essence bonuses, so worthless to me, but... Yep. And at this point, I'll keep running with these guys if they want to, I guess. I don't mind. Just get a couple dungeons in here for the video, show you guys a little bit about sort of how we've progressed and all that sort of thing, so... Yeah, I don't know. 91k DPS in that dungeon, didn't use ult on a good pack, and stuff's dying pretty fast. Fine. And I'll be back whenever I'm in the next dungeon. See you in a few. Alright, looks like the team has selected a Godfall 25, and yeah, I mean, you do find a lot of groups around this range. I guess these guys just said that, you know,
I will not give up!
I guess Tarek is maybe a little bit lower dungeon score than me, the tank is higher, the healer is lower, so... I think the healer is just trying to gear, and then the two higher players are, you know, just trying to get the gems, you know? And, I should have put this on something else, the Taskmaster, but whatever. Oh, there's an Enforcer, too. Well, I don't want to throw another Frogs. Oh, don't want to be in that. Okay. But yeah, I mean... Trying to get gems doing 40s and stuff like that is pretty frustrating. I mean, I was trying to not do any sort of quote-unquote farming, but... It's part of the reason why I'm thinking about sort of maybe taking a step back from the game, is just because, you know, I don't really like to farm gems, but when I'm spending like 45 minutes in queue to not get to play, and then to not even get completions because people just quit. It starts to get frustrating, so I have been finding myself doing a lot more of these, like, 20s and stuff like that, so... You know, for people who are asking if it's good to play solo or whatever, again, everyone will have their break point at some point in the game, I would say, but if your goal is to, like, get all the mounts and get, like, do some higher dungeons and stuff, like particularly up to 20 or something, I don't think that you'll have too much of a problem. There's a lot of good groups out, and then because of the way that the queues and farmings and stuff like that are sort of working in the game, uh-oh. Okay, good. He died before the binding ice stopped me and the rat was going to explode me. I don't know if it would kill me on a 20. Well, it's 25. But yeah, you'll find groups and you can get stuff done and have a lot of fun, so... Oh, I meant to kick this thing, but I guess it didn't work, so it's annoying. But yeah, they just kill in 1 second anyway, so...
My shield will not break.
Thought I clicked this like 100 times, but I guess not. Sure, I guess I'll channel my weapon. So yeah, you definitely play solo. If you're having trouble getting into Eternal, if you're having trouble, whoa. Didn't expect that guy to spawn there, but that's okay. Oh, he got deleted because the other player got ult off first, so this might be bad for me. I might not get like a full ult fill, because I think it's based on how much damage you did to it, so... pretty good, 81%. Probably still better to cast it, but if the next pull is huge, which it might be, I might not get it. Which would kind of suck for me. Oh yeah, it's enormous. So this is the pull that I want ult for, and I 100% am going to lose damage now, because I don't have it for this, and everything's going to be dead in 2 seconds. Don't even have weapon or anything. Don't even have frogs. I guess I'll have it for the next tiny pull. Well, what I was trying to say is if you're having trouble getting to Eternal and getting through leagues and stuff like that, you know, the main thing to say, I think, is just that, okay, well, that was pretty troll. Pulled aggro on that, I kind of tried to get closer to the tank. I don't know. I could have done more. I guess I could have flicker stepped again. I probably should have popped personal or something. Then I might have lived that and the tank might have picked it up, so, my bad.
I'm just getting started.
Oh my gosh, okay, well... Still don't even have ult for this, really. Probably shouldn't even use this chrono shift. Okay, now I have ult, I guess. But in terms of using your resources, like I was saying, don't really use your resources when you're you know, getting through contender and stuff like that. If you're having trouble getting through content without upgrading your resources and stuff like that, you just always work on play skill first in this game. Always work on routes, rotation, learning interrupts, dodging stuff, instead of gear, because I'm not even going to use ult here, I'll just hold it for the boss. So I don't even know if I'll get another ult on the boss. I don't know how fast he's going to get deleted. But gear always pays dividends. Or, not gear. Play skill always pays dividends. There's a limit to how much you can over-gear stuff, so if you're never just improving, you're going to hit the cap of what you can do a lot sooner than you would otherwise.
Flames protect me! Burn, baby, burn!
I feel cold.
You know, start worrying about gear when you hit Eternal, and even then, it's not the most important thing in the world. I really do wish that they would make in the game a way to make your mouse show up a little bit better.
Flame ward! That hurt.
Uh-oh. Well, we screwed that up. I don't think it matters at all, really.
Give me everything you've dropped.
My shield will not break.
God, look how pathetic I am at killing this thing. I kicked it and everything.
Give me all you fires protect me.
But yeah, just always work on your skill in this game and you'll be happy. Skill scales with gear. If you're not playing at a maximum, if you're not playing to whatever extent below perfect you're not playing, which no one plays 100% perfect. I mean, perfect play is using every single global cooldown and movement correctly, which is pretty, you know, pretty high bar. But you know, gear will always make things easier, but gear scales even more with skill. So work on skill first. Eventually, you will acquire all of your best gear, even if it takes you a little while. And when you do, then you will see how far you can go. Dungeon knowledge, also very important. There's still plenty of things I haven't learned about this game. Little tricks, little routes, exactly what certain mobs do. The other day I was doing Everdawn Grove, and I never knew from playing the game that I think the Horn Seers in the game cast an ability called Orb of Blood. Where, like, they do a bolt cast, they do Orb of Blood, and then they do Sanguine Offering, and I learned pretty quickly, oh, better kick Sanguine Offering. But Orb of Blood I never really thought about. It's just one orb, it targets a random player, it does some damage. But I was doing like a 43 or something like that, and I don't know if it was the dungeon level or if it was an empowered minion or something like that, but it was one-shotting people. So then I started to be like, okay, well, I guess I need to kick this thing. This thing needs to be kicked all the time, so I was like, wow, that really makes it difficult, because now there's a lot more kicks to happen, and these mobs don't die very fast anymore, so... And then someone was like, well, no, you don't need to kick that. You can dodge it. And I was like, oh, I didn't even know you could dodge it. Okay. So then the next run I did with these people, I was like, all right, well, then I'll just try to dodge it and let that go through. I mean, I've never seen it kill anyone before or had a problem with it, really. Before this one group I was in with whatever was going on. So, I was like, all right, I'll look for it and dodge it. And then it cast it, and it killed me, because, I don't know. I didn't really know what it looked like, and it was hard to see faint little red thing or something that just didn't stand out very much, so... Yeah. So yeah, a lot of stuff to learn about how stuff works, the timing of things and everything. And, you know, I'm tempted to continue playing just because I do like that sort of thing, min-maxing, getting in a group, figuring out all the little stuff or whatever, but I don't know, I'm just not really in the mood for it right now. I kind of just wanted to play solo, and if queue times are getting too long to do stuff that gets me score, I mean, this is fine, it's like relaxing to play, but it's just not, you know, it doesn't sort of progress me in the game really, or pose too much of a challenge. This is a Wyrmheart 26. Then I don't know. That's the time when I kind of start to consider, maybe that's a good stopping point for me then. I'll wait till these guys get started, I guess. Alright, and we're off. Kind of looks like the same curses we had before. Different route this time? Well, it's the same thing, but they didn't pull the mobs to the side. I mean, I assume it's intentional. Oh, it's the White Witch this time. Okay. I mean, feels dumb to even cast Pyromania, but if all we're doing next is the Witch, I mean, I might as well just throw it. I mean, I don't know. It all dies before I can even do any damage. Alright, there's like a pat coming. Oh, it's Meteor Strikes or whatever. Gotten better at that. Still not great. Still some orbs scattered around here. Let's see if I can grab this one before some pat comes. Alright. Yeah, both picked at the same time. Classic. That's the other sort of thing that's like, you know... I mean, it's not going to matter for doing this, but... obviously at some certain key level, like, you're basically just going to get one shot if you do something like that, and so... that's where you know, you're just like, oh, need to play with comms. Progress further.
Shield me!
This is kind of inefficient detonating, but I just want to get out of that phase. Alright.
Offense is the greatest defense!
I mean, I don't know. I can't even find the other target, so whatever. So yeah, this is like a 26. I'm still kind of barely getting to use abilities, really. Before the full's dead, so... yeah, it was a little icky. Okay. Now it's gonna be the, mini boss thingy, I guess. Oh, maybe not. Okay, not yet. I guess because we didn't do that first pull, maybe? We're gonna get a different timing this time? Oh, that's good. Oh, we're only gonna do... okay, I don't know.
My shield will not
This is gonna hurt!
And I'm worth throwing a fireball.
Offense is the greatest defense!
Fire, shield me!
Uh-oh.
Steel! No mercy!
Watch this! Flames, protect me.
I mean, not even time to throw frogs here, really. Where did this thing come from?
This looks fun.
I will not yield!
Flames, shield me.
I'm not even sure how that really works as far as playing around it at this point, but I feel like maybe I did that correctly. Like, maybe you just, you know... I don't know where that assassin's going to dive, so if it dives on me, basically just pop personal in advance. Particularly right now with my talents, I'm using one of the talents, I forget what it's called, gets you kind of like an upgraded defensive, where it lasts a lot longer and gives you a shield. It's really, really good, particularly in high keys. I recommend it for most, if not all, of the dungeons.
My shield won't falter!
Trying to get one of these scholars down just because I think it might... I mean... I probably should have just done the other one, I guess. I still need a couple orbs. Some mobs up here we can do. Do this big guy or these. Here.
My shield and iron wall!
I guess we've got the little mini boss guy coming up, so
Time for a little razzle.
I guess I'd like to ult. Where's the guy?
Fire shield me.
Not break.
This supposed to hurt.
You are blessed to witness her ascension,
Blood,
but your
steel,
intrusion
no
cannot
mercy.
go unpunished. Be burdened by frost.
Ooh, that's bad by me.
Dance, mortals.
Unsealed hold.
Is that all? Be gone. Be burdened by frost. Dance, mortals. Be gone. Be burdened by frost.
Yeah, it did a pretty bad job on the mist here, but
Dance, mortals.
our damage doesn't seem as high. I guess it's 26.
Gone.
And I don't know,
Unsealed
This
hold.
changes
does the
nothing.
boss have more health or something?
Witness Cithral's power.
Other than it being a 26? Maybe.
Be burdened by frost. Dance, mortals.
Oh, maybe we lost the DPS at some point? Would explain it too. Get some gems. Cool. Well, we lost DPS because again, stuff dies too quickly. We did more overall because yeah, I mean, I guess I didn't see when, but I guess someone died on the last boss. So yeah, I don't know. Those mid-20s and stuff like that, they don't really. I mean, I don't know. You start to get gear, gems, and all that stuff, and they start to become a lot easier. I mean, it's doesn't require a lot of attention to do them. And then yeah, I would say for me around this. Around dungeon level 40, it's starting to feel pretty tricky, just taking a long time to get in queue, not being able to get in queue for the things that I want, and stuff like coordinating kicks and little things start to matter more that are, you know, they're just kind of annoying to do without voice comms and stuff like that. I'm not wanting to deal with it right now, so this might be my adieu to Fellowship for now. I might return to it at some point. Maybe I'll play another character. Maybe I'll get back into it or something. But yeah, for anyone looking to pick up the game or wondering if you can play it solo, this is just a pretty easy example of yes, you can play solo. You can get up to reasonably high-level Eternal play, just playing by yourself. You'll have a lot of fun with it, and excited to see what all they put into the game in the future and how it turns out. I think it's got potential. You know, I would like to see them, you know, take some shots at doing some things a little bit differently. I definitely think that a game like this could definitely benefit more from trying to cater and make systems as good for solo players as possible, because I do think that a lot of people like to play solo, and I don't know, making the queue function well for solo players, or you know, any other little systems with kicking or anything like that that could make the game easier and more accessible for people to play solo, I think would be a good thing. So, in any case, yeah, if I wind up posting this, I might wind up playing some different games on the channel or something like that, and if I do, stay tuned for those. See you next time. Bye.